haven't known you that long.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably pretty cool. Well, I became chairman in 2004 and vice chair before that. Yeah, I've known him a long time. And we share emails back and forth. Sean's a good guy, a lot of integrity. I really respect Sean and the things he's done in the 7th District. He was vice chair and then chairman, and he's the DA in Ashland County. So I'm going to have Sean come and speak right now. Sean?
All right, thanks, guys.
Many years.
I see it so often together I get them messed up. But I recently just stepped down as the chair of the 7th Congressional District, and as part of that, I've got to work with the great county leaders throughout the 7th. And I think one of the things that we've seen recently is we have great leadership throughout the district, and you guys have, I think, some of the best leadership in all the counties right here in Travis and Guy. They do an outstanding job for you guys. Let's give them a round of applause there. As I mentioned, they've done a great job of making us have the meetings here in Ladysmith, every other month at El Rancho too. So they have good credibility. Quickly, we do have a potential primary for our governor's race between Scott Walker and Mark Newman. You're going to have a chance to meet them both. And I also believe that you guys are going to support Scott Walker. But the reason I think you're going to support him is because you're going to see that he is the best candidate to beat Jim Doyle. When you hear them both talk, when you hear their ideas, when you hear what their agenda is, you're going to go, this is a no-brainer. Scott Walker's the guy. And that's why I think when he comes up, and both candidates come up, you're going to really get behind Scott Walker, and he's just an awesome, dynamic, solid human being. So I look forward to him coming up and seeing all of you as the campaign progresses. You guys have heard about the Tea Parties, right? Yeah. Did you guys go to any of them?
No. Yep.
Yeah. Dan, you were down in...
Jimmy and I went down to Wausau.
To Wausau, okay.
Awesome.
Anyone go to the one in Madison? The Milkies were there, yes. Now, the organizers of that event, they thought that they might have anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 people at that tea party on the lawn of the Capitol, and they were actually really praying and hoping they would have 4,000 to 5,000 people. When that day came, we had 8,000 to 9,000 people on the lawn of the Capitol in Madison. It was amazing. It was the largest rally on the lawn of the Capitol since the 1960s anti-war rally. It was the largest rally in the whole country outside of the one in Atlanta where Sean Hannity was broadcasting live and they had rock stars and country stars there. Beyond that one, Wisconsin had the biggest event. It was great. And then there was the one down in Wausau. Meg Ellefson, a stay-at-home mom, put together that tea party. She was hoping for, I think, 400 to 500 people. There were 2,000 people roughly at the square in Wausau at that tea party rally. I mean, just an amazing turnout for these events. And I think that underscores the point that there's a movement afoot here. But I got a chance to speak at both of them, and when I was done, I went out and was talking to people in the crowd and looking at all the great signs out there, because if you saw them on TV, they were quite remarkable, all the different slogans and sayings they had. But as I spoke to people, a majority of them didn't belong to a political party. They weren't Republicans or Democrats. They were just people who were upset with the direction our country is going. No one had ever been to a protest that I spoke with. None of them. But the one thing they all had in common was that they were angry that Congress voted to spend $800 billion of our money on a stimulus bill they didn't even read. And I guess for us here in the 7th District, it's a little bit different because our congressman did read the bill. Not only did he read it, he wrote it. Dave Obey, our congressman, is a proud author of that pork-filled legislation. And I guess the only thing I think worse than giving Congress less than 24 hours to review and vote on that 1,000-page document is the fact that if the Democrats were honest, they would admit to us that that legislation wasn't meant to stimulate the economy. It was meant to stimulate the government. And I think the case in point there is we now have an unemployment rate that's at 9.4%. But there's one city out there that's doing quite well. It has an unemployment rate of just over 5%. Anyone know what city that is?
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C., that's right. The government is doing well. I don't think that stimulus package stimulated jobs either.
No.
It stimulated debt.
Yep.
We are on track to double our national deficit in the next 10 years to over $20 trillion. This year alone, we're going to spend $1.8 trillion in debt. This is unacceptable, it's unsustainable, and what we're doing is mortgaging our children's future. And we can't stand for it. Now, I think we're in the midst of a great battle, and it's a battle of ideas. It's a battle about the proper role of government. I think it's a battle about limiting government, because I think we know that it's the individuals and not the government that are the engine to American prosperity. And if you listen to the media recently, you hear them talk about how if we're going to win future elections, we have to abandon our conservative roots. We have to move to the center like John McCain and Colin Powell. You hear that, right? I think that's absolutely wrong. If we're going to win again, if we're going to be a party of leaders, we have to go back to our conservative roots. And when we do that, I think we will once again lead here in America. They've also been taking, and they always have, I guess, been taking pot shots at Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And they've been telling us to forget about Reagan. He's a man of the past. He's a man of the 80s. And I guess for me, I kind of agree with the last part. He is a man of the 80s, but not the 1980s, the 1780s. I mean, it was Reagan's ideals and principles that were the same ideals and principles of our founding fathers. Those same ideals and principles that made this country great. Those same principles that are under attack by the Democrats. And I guess I think I would be a little bit off base here if at a Reagan Day lunch or dinner or picnic I didn't give you guys a Reagan quote. And I think it's appropriate. Reagan once said, "Let us be sure that those who come after will say of us in our time, that in our time we did everything that could be done. We finished the race, we kept them free, we kept the faith." I think we all have to keep the faith. We have to do the hard work of getting out there, talking to our friends, our family members, our neighbors about politics, about what's happening in Washington, D.C. We have to be able to write letters to the editor about what's going on. I think that we have to grow this party. We have to expand the party. We have to mobilize the party. We have to energize this party, but it's because it's through this party that we're really going to bring change to Washington. And it's not these watered down, corrupt Republican values. It's truly conservative, principled Republican values that are going to make the difference in Washington, D.C. And we can all be part of that change. Because if we don't do it, we're not going to pass on to the next generation the same free and prosperous America that we inherited from the previous generation. We want to pass on, as Reagan said, that shining city on a hill. But it's going to take work. And I guess over the next cycle and the cycle after that, I look forward to working with all of you to make sure we take our country back and make it great again. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.